What's up, everybody? UFC 236 is going down this Saturday in Atlanta, Georgia, with 2 titles at the top of the bill. Today, though, we are breaking down the co-main event, which is for the interim middleweight title between Kelvin Gastelum and Israel Adesanya. Adesanya, at the time of this video, is your current favorite at -175, whereas Gastelum's going to have the plus number next to him as your underdog, plus 145. I'm really stoked for this one, Goes. What are you feeling is going to happen on Saturday night?
Well, first of all, I feel like those odds are going to jump up a little bit because Israel Adesanya, he's the fun guy to go after, right? He's got the flashy kicks, the flashy strikes. And if you look at Kelvin Gastelum and what he's gone through in the past, a guy that you could point to that has kind of a similar skill set is a guy named Uriah Hall. And he was able to get through that at the time. Kelvin Gastelum has this way of proving us wrong over and over again. But it's hard with a guy like Israel Adesanya because he's got that speed, he's got that range. I think he's gonna give Kelvin a lot of problems with that. I feel dumb picking against Kelvin Gastelum because I always get burned. He's a tough fighter, but I really do feel like Israel Adesanya is gonna take that next step on Saturday. I'm gonna go with Israel Adesanya, but I would not be shocked if Kelvin Gastelum just shows us again another fighter in front of him that he proves needs to have a little bit more work.
Yeah, you're right, and I like that you mentioned the Uriah Hall fight because to me that signifies his tough run. Now it's kind of the last title, so to speak. I know it's not a UFC belt, but kind of a last title, and that would be poetic for Kelvin to maybe get it this time. Although I will say, I agree with the favorite being who he is and Israel Adesanya. Obviously, he has his own story. The UFC is promoting him very well. But beyond that, more importantly, Adesanya, he's getting better every fight, and he's shoring up holes or perceived pass holes, if you will, as far as grappling and what's the striker going to do when he's on his back. We still haven't seen, a crazy guard game, and I'm sure on his back is the last place he's going to want to be. But you got to give credit to Israel Adesanya for his improvements, and I will be leaving room to be surprised Saturday night. But that said, I'm actually going to go with the underdog here, which again I feel crazy. You say you feel crazy, picking the other way. I feel crazy picking against Adesanya myself here because again he is such a great fighter, but Gastelum, he is that dog. He was a top 5 underdog for me in an episode I did on the Protecting Neck podcast for a reason, because this guy will come through, like you said, and he'll show up when you don't expect him to show up. He's got the wrestling that he's kind of trended away from. It'll be interesting to see if he goes back to that, that durable southpaw pressure, a guy who can wrestle like Gastelum. Real potent to upset the odds, but you know what? It does it for me. It's not so much the wrestling, which could show up in this fight. I'm not saying it can't. I'm also thinking Gastelum may be able to surprise people in the striking. He's small for the division, but what comes with being small is speed, something you guys talk about a lot. And I think Adesanya is used to being the faster guy. I'm not saying he still won't be faster than Gastelum. He very well may be, but I actually see Gastelum being a little bit faster here. And an interesting thing I noticed, Goes, is that when you look back at Adesanya, sure, he's beaten all 3. He's undefeated in MMA, but he's beaten all 3 UFC southpaws. If you look at the last one he faced in Anderson Silva, Anderson tagged him with the jab a couple of times and is even admitted he caught me off guard there. And what I noticed was that it was every time that Adesanya went to the southpaw stance, Anderson blitzed him, and it makes sense because he had Alex Pereira in his corner, and Alex Pereira is a guy who beat Israel Adesanya twice and knocked him out the second time in kickboxing. And when he knocked him out, it looked like that Jorge Masvidal versus Darren Till knockout, where Jorge goes to the southpaw stance and goes over that lead shoulder of the southpaw and Darren Till, and that's how Izzy got caught. I'm not saying Kelvin's going to do that, but I just feel like he has more path to victory here, so I'm actually going to go with Kelvin. And even if you are going with Izzy, I think you should keep an eye for any time he goes southpaw in this fight.
I like it. Those are good points.
You know what? I don't
kind of got me thinking my pick.
Yeah, but do I feel any more confident about this fight? No. So I think we're just going to have to watch the results, and hopefully it lives up to all the hype because I'm stoked on this one. Tune in Saturday night. We got you covered at MMAjunkie.com, so keep it locked.